Hello YouTubers, my name is Kaliyah Parker and I am doing a video blog for my English 1102 class based on the novel The Sunset Limited by Cormac McCarthy. To start, I must say that this story is very interesting, yet can be confusing if you do not research the author first. Now, the title is called The Sunset Limited because that is the name of the actual train that White, who is the professor in the story, tries to commit suicide on. He tries to jump off or jump in front of the train, the Sunset Limited. But thankfully, Black, who is the other character in the Sunset Limited, he's also an ex-convict, which he explains within the story. He comes out of nowhere and he saves White's life. Now, if somebody saves your life and, you're trying to commit death, of course you're going to feel like you owe your savior something, correct? Correct. That's exactly how White felt. White felt like, okay, this dude just saved my life and I'm trying to commit suicide. I'm embarrassed, first of all. Let me just give him what he wants and then I can leave and I can continue doing what I was trying to do in the beginning. That's White's mentality. He felt like he was embarrassed and he felt like he owed Black something. And he did. I mean, Black saved his life. He should be thankful. So, therefore, yes, he feels the only thing that Black wants is answers. Why are you doing this? What made you do this? Where's your faith? Don't you believe in God? He questions White continuously. That's all they do throughout the whole story. Basically, they're going back and forth. It seems as if it's an argument, but it's not really an argument. But they are going back and forth, and you can tell that White is getting very irritated. Continuously, White is just ready to leave. White doesn't want to be there. White is embarrassed. He doesn't want to be there anymore. White just wants to leave. And he really just wanted to leave to finish his job, finish what he was doing. In the midst of the arguing and going back and forth, Black discovers that he doesn't have any faith. White does not have any faith whatsoever. He does not believe in God. He has no faith in his life. He also has no faith in himself. White talks about his family in the very beginning, and apparently his family, I wouldn't say non-existent. It's non-existent now, but there was a conversation between Black and White in the beginning, and Black asks about his dad, White's dad. And White's dad was basically on his deathbed, and his dad would ask White, come see me. I'm finna die. Can you come see me? White would be like, yeah, I'm coming. Never showed up. Then his mom asked, can you please just go see your dad? Your dad is dying. And he claimed that he was going, but it was too late. In my opinion, he had no care in the world. His life was going downhill from the beginning. Something that stands out to me about White is that, of course, his faith, but at the end, he states that, how he's a professor, and Black wanted to know what he's a professor of. And he tells Black that he's the professor of darkness. That stands out to me very well. And the reason it stands out to me is because I can see that his whole life was about darkness. And the weird thing about it, if you compare the character's name, White is a resemblance of light. Why is it that White's whole entire life revolved around darkness, while Black, although he was an ex-convict, he found God, and I'm guessing his life turned into brightness? It's very confusing, because Black is a resemblance of dark, yet he's the one who has the faith. So let's also compare the names to their character. Okay, they call White White because obviously he's a white male. You can tell by the dialect. He's very smart. very intelligent. He's a professor. Black, sorry, on the other hand, is an African American. Um, yeah, pretty much. He's an African American. He's an ex-convict. He was in jail and he murdered a person because the man came at him wrong with a knife. So he grabbed the table leg that had a long screw in it and he started beating the man on his head. There was another man, his friend, the dude who he was beating. His friend came and he basically pulled him off and he tried to stab him. Black wasn't going for it, so Black hit him one time on his head and he ran under the table. Next thing you know, he has a lot of blood coming out of him. A lot of blood. He lost over half of his blood, and therefore the police officers demands him to get on the ground, and he realizes he's the only one standing up because one of the men there was very injured. I believe he lost his eye or something like that. He didn't die though, but he did lose his eye. And then the other guy, he was just under the table. You know, he just ran under the table. But yeah. So Black has been through some very dark times as well, but in the midst of it all, he explains how he found God. He believes in God. And there's one conversation when Black and White have, and White tries to question him like, why do you stay here? This place is horrible, it's dangerous, but Black finds the good in it. Like, okay, yeah, it's dangerous, but it's my place. It's mine. I can own up to it. I'm living here, and I'm okay with it. That's the difference between White and Black. Black sees the good in the bad. White just looks at the bad and tries to run away from it. Pretty much why he tries to commit suicide. He's done with his life. He tries to run away from his life. So basically, this whole story will kind of just show you that, okay, even though you see the bad in something, there's always somebody else who's going to see the good in it. Towards the end, you can see that even though Black tries to convince White to stay so he won't commit the suicide, there's no hope. White's mind is already made up in that he's already going to commit the suicide because he has no faith. He does not believe in God. And that's exactly what he does. Eventually, White leaves and he goes and commits the suicide, leaving Black questioning God now. Because at the beginning, Black wouldn't dare question God. Why are you doing this? Why didn't you give me answers? Why couldn't I make him stay? So at the end, Black is left questioning God, but he finds his faith again. Towards the end, he actually says, what about me? That's all right. That's all right. If you never speak again, you know I'll keep your word. You know I will. You know I'm good for it. Is that okay? Is that okay? So even though he loses faith for a quick second, comes right back to him, and he knows that, okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be questioning you. That's his decision. I tried. You gave me everything that I was supposed to do to try to save this man, but it did not work. And that's basically how Black feels. Like, he can't save everybody. He did his part that God gave him the ability to do. So the whole story, it might sound like a big confusion, but it all comes together. It all makes sense. The Sunset Limited is the train, people. I had no idea. I finally put the pieces together. The Sunset Limited is the train that White tries to commit suicide from, and that he eventually goes back to do. It's a great story. I actually loved it. I was very interested in it. I actually watched the movie and I read the book. So I'm very impressed. And Cormac McCarthy did a great job. So my video blog of how I felt and everything that happened within the story.